turning into a beautiful night here in Carson, California, the home of the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games. Now, welcome again to all of you athletes, families, and guests, and welcome to you all at home who are just joining us. Of course, this is the second live event announcement that we're here for. Dave Castro, director of the CrossFit Games, will be out in just a few moments for that. But first, it's only Wednesday, but we were delivered a huge dose of CrossFit today. The individual athletes shipped out at 0 dark 30 for the first ever pool event. You guys enjoy that? It's amazing. Amazing. Followed shortly thereafter, of course, by the half marathon row, which started with a 2K sprint. A few things come to mind. Khalipa. Give it up for the 08 champ. Usually puts himself in a hole early, finds himself a little bit in uncharted territory, sitting on the top of the leaderboard after just one day. Brought his training partner, Garrett Fisher, along with him to the top as well. And then how about the international athletes? David Levy representing Africa in 4th place overall currently. And then, of course, leading the female pack, Samantha Briggs. Give it up for UK's Samantha Briggs. It was an epic day of CrossFit. In case you missed it, check out this video to catch you up.
For the past 2 years, the CrossFit Games have started in the water. But this year, that water was in a pool. The men and women showed up at the Woolen Aquatic Center in Irvine, California for the opening event of the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games Wednesday morning. 10 rounds of a 25-meter swim, 3-bar muscle-ups, and another 25-meter swim. Rory Zambard set the pace for the women in the second heat. The CrossFit Games rookie was smooth in the water and efficient on the bar en route to a time of 14 minutes, 6.1 seconds. But that time would not last long. In the final heat, Michelle Latondra and Ashley Caribou both flirted with first place until round 9. Caribou would fail on a muscle-up, and that's all Latondra would need. She would go on to win the event and take 100 points with a final time of 13:19.2. Cara Webb would finish second with Rory Zambard in third. The final heat for the men was packed with athletes who knew how to move well in the water. Former All-American swimmer Jordan Troyan and former water polo player Matt Chan opened up a lead on the rest of the field right after they hit the water for the first time. Troyan and Chan were neck and neck until round 6. Chan would get a no rep on a muscle up and then fail on his subsequent attempt. That opened the door for Troyan to open up a lead he would never give up. Ben Smith would also take advantage and move into second. Troyan would come in with a final time of 10 minutes 6 seconds. Ben Smith grabbed second place, Josh Bridges was third, and Matt Chan would hang on to fourth. The competition moved to the StubHub Center's Velodrome for a half marathon row in the afternoon. Like Pendleton 1 and 2 last year, the row was 2 events. The first person to 2,000 meters would get 100 points, and the first person to complete the more than 20,000 meters would earn 100 points as well. For the men, that person was the same man. Jason Khalipa held off Rich Froning over the first 2,000 meters to take the win in row 1. Khalipa rode a frantic pace to a time of 6 minutes, 21.1 seconds. Froning would finish second with Simone Paquette in third. Khalipa would not slow down over the remaining 19,000 meters. Travis Mayer would lead early, but Khalipa quickly reeled him in and cruised to a second straight victory. His final time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, 2.3 seconds put him atop the overall leaderboard heading into the weekend. It was nearly the same story for the women. Sam Briggs and Kalina Ladares found themselves in a tooth-and-nail battle through the first 2,000 meters. Neither was able to separate herself, and the final result of row 1 was a tie. Both Briggs and Ladares crossed the 2,000-meter mark at 7 minutes, 17 seconds. But the rest of the half marathon belonged to Briggs. She would open up a lead and cruise to another first-place finish. The back-to-back firsts put Briggs in the overall lead after 3 events.
Let's get another round of applause for these athletes. What an amazing day. And if the rest of the games follow suit, it's going to be an epic year. Am I right? Miranda Oldroyd, prospective dancer for Taiga on the stage, is standing by with the current overall men's leader, Jason Khalipa. Mir?
Thank you, Rory. Jason, as Rory mentioned, in a little bit of uncharted territory. Usually after day one, you are climbing out of some sort of hole that you've created for yourself. In first place with a substantial lead. How does it feel?
Feels better than coming from behind. So I think being first is great, obviously, but there's a lot more to go. So right now I'm enjoying it, but ultimately there's a ton more points up for grabs, so got to stay focused.
Now, you had a pretty interesting strategy going into the row. You went all out on that 2K. Was there ever a point during the half marathon that you thought, okay, maybe that was a bad idea?
No, I mean, no one wants to go out on a 2K and then row a half marathon. No. But the points were there, and so you had to go for them, and that's what I had to do. I mean, I recovered faster than I thought I would after that 2K.
A very strong finish in the pool, followed by 2 first-place finishes on the row. What do you need to do to keep that spot?
The CrossFit Games are just about consistency. You know, consistency in your training leading up to it, consistency in your performances throughout the weekend. A lot of people do well in 1 or 2, whatever, but it's the guys who finish consistently in that top 10, top 5 that end up seeing themselves on the podium. So for me, it's just that exact same mentality, just, you know, top 10, top 5 for the rest of the weekend is my goal.
All right, he's not going to make it easy for the rest of the competitors. Rory, back to you.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks to the 2008 champion, Jason Coliva as well. Big day, but we've seen all of that, right? We know what's come, but we want to know what's ahead of us. Of course, we're here for the announcement from the director of the CrossFit Games, Dave Castro. To make things even more exciting this year, Dave has constructed a dream team. We're calling them the R&D, Research and Demo Team. Please welcome Dave Castro and the R&D team. You'll recognize a couple of familiar faces on this team, obviously. Austin Stack, Julie Fouché, Lindsay Smith, Patrick Barber, Spencer Hendel, and Annie Sakamoto. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Castro.
Tonight, we're going to go over Friday morning's individual and Friday morning's team workouts. But first, we need some gear. Open up, guys. They're coming through. So about 6-7 months ago, we were talking, planning the games, and I talked to Bill, and we needed something new for the teams. And he's like, what do you want to do, Dave? And I was like, well, the bigger Bob. And he's like, the bigger Bob? I'm like, yeah, the big Bob, but let's just make it bigger. And Bill goes, nah, that's not creative enough. Let's come up with something else. And he says, well, what about the stuff you guys did in your training back in your Navy days? And I went, oh, I know what you're talking about. I go, that's horrible, yet so brilliant. And so we ended up coming up with what you see them marching over here with for the teams. Okay. Now you can, hold on.
Let's recognize the athletes on this R&D team real quick, guys. We all know Julie Fouché. She had back-to-back 5th place finishes, and then last year, she was the second fittest woman on earth. She's taken 1 year off to take her 2nd year of med school. Let's give Julie a hand.
Go ahead and put it down. Guys, why'd you grab that one? Remember, we're not using this one in the competition. Go grab the correct one, please. Come on, that's not the one we're using.
That sucks.
And then Bill goes, well, what about that one variant of it that I've seen in some videos that you guys use in your training? And I go, you mean the lie detector? I go, that's horrible. Yet again, so brilliant. So they're about to grab what's called in that training the lie detector. We call it going to take them a minute.
What do you call it, Dave? Let's move down through the team. We've got Lindsay Smith also. She was 5th place in 2009. She qualified for every game since then until this year. And at the Central East Regional, she missed by just 1 spot. Guys, give it up for Lindsay. Now, Dave, you got him. Let's. What's the name of that thing?
We call it the worm. It's a log cut in 6 sections, each section weighing a different weight, and it's attached by a rope. And there's so many fun and cool, unique things you can do with it. You guys will get real familiar with it. There's no teamwork in the team competition, right? Okay, gently place it down. So because it's cut and there's rope, everyone has equal load, or their own load. If you notice with the other log, when they carried out, Julie didn't have any load and Annie didn't because of their height. But with this one, everyone gets some load. Before we brief the workouts, let's get the rest of the gear.
Moving down the team, guys, some CrossFit Originals. Any Pat Barber fans in the house? 4th place in 2008, 8th place in 2011, and Pat's been around CrossFit just about since he got out of diapers. Fun fact, he was actually one of our director of media, Tony Budding's students in high school, and that's where he picked up CrossFit. And then Annie Sakamoto, one of the original Nasty Girls. Give it up for Annie, guys.
Julie, go ahead and place the individual log on the platform. Don't drop it. And you'll see the Iditarod coming down with Andy and Pat moving really fast. All right, just drag it through at a slow pace. Okay, good job. Drag it over here. And finally, if you look down there, you'll see it's green, it's mean, and we call it the pig.
Perfect for Spencer Hendel, guys. He's a games veteran as well, known for his power. He's got a 305-pound snatch. You guys give it up for Spencer.
The pig is a tire flip device that's fully adjustable. We can add weight to it. We can add a lot of weight to it. This is something that Rob Orlando worked with Bill on, and they basically showed it to me 7 or 8 months ago, and when I saw it, I was like, hey, don't release that to the public yet, because this is going to be perfect for the games. I said, I don't know what we're going to use it for, but we'll use it somewhere in the games. Fast forward 5 or 6 months, we found a few places to use it.
It's just mean, Dave. Austin Stack, guys, the final member of the team. He's another veteran of the CrossFit Games. Finished 5th this year at regionals, but took 1st in the Incredible Hulk lookalike contest. Give it up for Austin.
The Friday morning individual workout, we call it the burden run. It's going to be one massive heat of women. They'll finish, and then we'll do one massive heat of all the men. It's run 2.1 miles. We've created a run course at the Home Depot Center that goes through essentially the fans, StubHub Center. They'll get to the track. They'll flip the pig. Solo, it's an individual workout. 100 yards down the field. They'll flip the pig 100 yards down the field. At the other end of the field, they'll pick up their log. And stand it back up and use it as a rest. And run 600 yards. They'll take it essentially from the soccer stadium into, the track, into the soccer stadium. They'll put that down, Then they'll grab the sled. They won't wear it. Their sled for the individuals will be just a pull, and they'll pull it 66 yards, and when they cross the finish line, their time is up. So it's a 2-mile run, flip the pig 100 yards, 600-yard log carry, and then a 66-yard pull of the sled. That's the individual Friday morning workout. The teams are doing a team version of this. On 3, 2, 1, go, as a team, you're going to run 2.1 miles around the complex there. You're going to get back to the field, and as a team, you're going to flip the pig 100 yards. The women will flip first, rotating through 50 yards. They'll flip 50. And then the men will add some additional weight that they've been carrying since the beginning of the flip. They'll put it on, and then they'll flip the additional 50 yards. At the end, once it's at the end of the end zone, the worm will be waiting for you. They'll pick up the worm, and they'll run the worm from the stadium from the track into the soccer stadium. And there'll be lanes, and they'll just run to a finish line with the worm. That's the first team workout. So it's run 2.1 miles. Women flip the pig for 50 yards, add some weight. Men flip it for an additional 50. You pick up the worm, run it into the soccer stadium, and run across the finish line. All the teams are going in one heat. First team to cross the finish line wins. As soon as every team is done and it's over, your second workout starts right there. You guys are going to go back in the soccer. You guys are going to stay in the soccer stadium, go to the back of the field. Every team is going to give us 2 members, 1 male and 1 female, and they're going to strap into the Iditarod, and you're on 3, 2, 1, actually on the buzzer. When the buzzer sounds off, all 43 teams will have 1 pair, a male and a female, race against each other with the Iditarod to the finish line, a pure sprint. The first heat will use the Iditarod plus 3 45s. They finish, then we reset, then you have your second pair, another female and male athlete, strap in. They'll do the same thing, 1 massive sprint across the field, and they'll use 4 plates, 4 45s. We'll bring it back, we'll reset, and add another plate, and your final pair, 1 female, 1 male, on the gun will sprint 5 plates, 5 45s across the field. That's the second part of the team workout. The burden run for the teams is a 100-point event, and each one of those pair sprint-offs, are 50-point events. So there's a potential of 450 or 250 points available that Friday morning for the teams. The individual workout, the burden, is just a 100-point workout, standard 100 points. You guys all saw on the website, one of the team workouts was 3 rounds for a time of 30 squats and 30 burpees. That's Saturday's workout, correct? That is 30 worm squats and 30 burpees over the worm, 3 rounds for time. So what that'll look like. One, 2, 3. They'll hit 30, and then they'll put it down. And then they'll do burpees up and over the log together. 3 rounds for time of 30, 30, 30. And you might see the worm later on in the weekend too. Any questions? Thank you.
Got a little awkward in here. Couple of smiles, just some standard workouts, guys. No big deal. You guys like those teams? Ben Bergeron, CFN, yeah? CrossFit New England. Hacks Pack has big smiles on their faces. Miranda is standing by with the team captain, Tommy Hackenbrook. Guys, let's hear from Tommy Hackenbrook.
All right, Tommy. Worms and pigs and Iditarods. A lot of information just given to you. What are your thoughts?
Man, I think I speak for everybody here, and we are just psyched to do this on Friday. It looks like a ton of fun.
All right, a lot of pressure on potentially your team, 2012 champs. Just crushed workout after workout at the regionals. Several event records. Do you guys feel like you just have this in the bag right now, or how do you think you're going to do?
Regionals were over a long time ago. There's about 240 people here who see a big, huge target on our back. And it'd be stupid to think that we had anything locked up or even anywhere near that. This is a bunch of stuff that no one's done before. And there's some extremely well-rounded teams here and solid athletes. They've all been training hard. So, yeah, there's a big target, but there's definitely nothing's decided.
Definitely a lot of new equipment, things like you said that we've never seen before. I know that you are a fan of that sort of event with kind of the odd objects. Does the rest of your team share that sentiment?
It's been beaten into them, I think, by me. Made them do a lot of the stuff that I like to do because I'm somewhat biased in my programming. So we've done some fun stuff like this. We've tried to mess around with it and did some seal fit stuff last fall, which I think was a huge help, although we didn't have a lie detector, unfortunately. But we'll find out on Friday how much fun that is.
All right, we'll see if Hacks Pack is the truth. Rory, back to you.
Thanks, guys. Modest but very confident-looking Tommy Hackenbrook. Guys, that's going to be our show for the evening. Thank you to all of you. And again, let's give one more round of applause to these athletes who performed today. The quest for the fittest team on earth will start on Friday morning, and of course, the quest for the individual fittest man and woman on earth as well. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around online for the update show, which will be live in a few hours. That's our show for this evening. We'll see you on Friday.